Hello and welcome to September training on burnout, specifically how to spot burnout and what to do. If you ever need to reach out to CLF, you can reach out at support@concussionfoundation.org. A brief overview of our training today. We're going to talk about what is burnout, and then we'll move on to what does burnout sound like, what does burnout look like, what helps burnout, what to say if you see burnout, how to ask about it, suggestions and recommendations, what not to say, and what is in scope versus out of scope. We have noted burnout in previous trainings, and this specific training is geared towards burnout in a partner. The definition of burnout is physical, emotional, or mental exhaustion accompanied by decreased motivation, lowered performance, and negative attitude towards oneself and others. Some examples of things that can cause burnout include not feeling listened to or heard, insufficient autonomy, diminishing sense of accomplishment, feeling a lack of control over decisions, lack of support, trauma or stress, and not practicing self-care. So, what does burnout sound like in a partner? You might hear examples such as, I don't know how much more I can fight, or I'm not going to therapy, I just don't have it in me anymore. Maybe you might hear, this is all my fault anyway, I don't deserve to get any better. Maybe just, you don't understand me. Nobody understands me. I'm just alone. If you hear things like this from coming from your partner, reach out to CLF immediately at the Support at Concussion Foundation. If you're in Canada, you can reach to Taya. In the US, you can reach out to myself or international connections to myself, Tyler, at support@concussionfoundation.org. We can help you with next steps on this, but it is good to just be aware that partners may be feeling a little bit of burnout if some things like these are said. Burnout can look like many different things, such as chronic fatigue. It could be difficulty sleeping slash insomnia, concentration or procrastination problems, or even some organization issues. Can also be increased feelings of anxiety or depression, such as crying, isolation, feeling helpless or trapped, or a cynical outlook. It might even be some emotional withdrawal, a loss of motivation, skipping events slash staying home, decreased satisfaction slash sense of accomplishment. I know that some of these may be in line with symptoms for PPCS or even CTE, but it is important to know that these can also be signs of burnout and important to note down for yourself or just note to me or Taya so that way we can check in to make sure that they're getting the support and care that they need. So, what helps burnout? So, some regular day practices that could really benefit reducing burnout in a partner can be meditation, mindfulness, rest and relaxation, engaging in their hobbies, listening to music, socialization, and establishing boundaries. Some medical or mental health options can include counseling and therapy, nutrition and exercise, journaling their emotions or their feelings, peer support, and maintaining regular sleep cycles. It's a great way to encourage partners to practice these so that way it can help reduce their burnout. Now, I know that's not always possible in every circumstance, but the more that we can support a partner in these areas, the better off that they will be. So, if you see burnout or hear burnout in your partner, things that you can say might include, I hear you. Thank you for telling me what you're going through. It just shows the level of supportiveness that you're going to be there even though they're struggling. And I know that most of you, if not all of you, have had to say this at one point or time or another, but we just really do appreciate the empathy and compassion you're showing for your partners. Some other things that you might be able to say to a partner if you see burnout, you can say, I am sorry you are feeling that way. I am here for you. How can I support you during this difficult time? Can I reach out to CLF to get you additional support? As a friendly reminder, CLF Helpline does have mental health resources and providers that we can send out to your partners. So if you're ever in need, please feel free to reach out to me directly or the CLF or encourage the partner to reach out to the CLF Helpline. Some ways that you can ask about burnout for a partner if you're unsure whether they're really feeling burnout or if it might be a different symptom. You can say, I just want to check in and see if you are still doing your self-care routine. Are you feeling a lack of support? How are you feeling about your progress slash situation so far? You seem to be distressed at the moment. Do you want to talk about it? Now, these are questions that you can ask at any point in time during a connection, and it might just be, someone recovering from their concussion, TBI, or going through CTE symptoms, or being a caregiver. You might feel, a lot of the symptoms of burnout kind of correlate with some symptoms of those situations, but it is important for us to just kind of ask these questions to really get down to the nitty-gritty of how someone is really feeling and see if there's additional ways we can support them. So, how to make recommendations, when to make suggestions. The big thing is that peer support volunteers are just being there can help with burnout. You being there is so important to someone who's really struggling. And, you can use active listening, then respond with empathy, and ask if they want to hear your suggestions or experiences before just throwing them out there. Oftentimes, just being able to vent some emotions or difficulties or struggles can really lift a heavy load of emotional baggage off of someone's shoulders. So feel free to always ask first before you give them your suggestions or your experiences to see if they're really ready to hear those or if they're just looking to talk to someone. Some examples of things not to say that could really do additional damage. I don't think that any of you will be engaging in these kind of conversations, but we do want to put it out there that things not to say is, don't worry, you'll get over it in time, or I got past it and so will you. You have to go and do it, then it will get better. You're being too negative. You need to be positive. All of these can kind of set people back in their recovery or in their situation, can make them feel belittled or misunderstood. So please always respond with empathy. What's in scope and out of scope of every connection that we really do want to go over is, in scope is a listening ear, virtual face-to-face connections, or sharing personal experiences. And then what's not in a scope of peer support is the professional mental health advice, meeting in person, and then legal and financial assistance. The references that we got for burnout on this training include the CLF guidebook, the peer support writer self-care presentation at .gov, a really good presentation on self-care, our 2022 self-care training, and our 2024 boundaries training. And I just want to thank you for attending this training, listening in. If you ever have any questions or are in need of support, you can reach out to support@concussionfoundation.org. Thank you for your time today and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.